Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Molly's Dishes. So this week we are going to make 2 new recipes using our newest item to the food pantry, garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. So chickpeas are a great addition to any recipe or diet because they are full of nutrients such as fiber and protein, and they also help keep you full throughout the day. And they're also very inexpensive and easy to add in as a substitute to a meat or any other type of recipe that you want. So today we're going to make hummus as well as taco chickpeas. So let's get cooking. All right, so it's time to go over our ingredient list. So hummus is very simple and easy to make because it has only a few ingredients and you can definitely customize it to whatever taste you want. So the first ingredient, of course, 1 can of chickpeas. Then you'll also need some tahini, some olive oil, cumin, salt, some chopped garlic, and a lemon. So today I'm going to make what I like to call green goddess hummus because I'm going to add in a herb, basil. You can also add in something like cilantro or parsley or any other fresh herb. It just makes it really fresh and delicious and kind of summery. Some other seasonings that you can also add are everything but the bagel seasoning. So I get this from Trader Joe's, but you can also make your own version with sesame seeds, as well as sea salt, garlic, and onion. You can also add in things like jalapenos or paprika if you want a more spicy flavor. And you can also add in other ingredients like black beans to make it more nutritious. So as you can see, the possibilities are endless, but we'll go ahead and get started making the green goddess hummus. All right, time for our first step. So first and foremost, make sure you drain the chickpeas after you open the can. So we'll pour this into our food processor bowl. So I'm using a food processor, but you can also use a blender if you have that available to you. So we'll go ahead, pour in our chickpeas, and then next we're going to add in a 1/3 cup of tahini. So we'll pour that in, get the rest out there. And then next we're going to add 2 cloves of garlic. So I like to buy the pre-chopped garlic because it's super easy to just scoop up and toss in, but you can also use fresh garlic and either use a garlic press or chop it up. All right, great. All right, and now we need to add our spices. So we'll start with cumin. So we are doing a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. So put that in. And then 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So you can also use Himalayan salt if you want, or sea salt, whatever you prefer. I'm just using regular Morton salt. 2 and 3. Okay, and then we also add olive oil. So we have here, so we'll add 2 tablespoons. 1 and 2. Perfect. So now we need to add our lemon and then also the basil to make this the green goddess hummus. So I'm going to grab a knife and then we will cut our lemon in 2 halves like this, and then I always look to make sure that there are no seeds so they don't end up in my hummus. So give that a good squeeze. You can also use lemon juice that comes in like a refrigerated can if that's easier for you. But I like to use fresh lemons. Okay, and then we'll do the other half. Okay, good. We don't have any seeds. Awesome. Okay, so put those aside, and so next we're going to add our basil. So I have it sitting in a little glass of water because keeping fresh herbs fresh for a long time can be difficult sometimes. So by keeping them in water, you extend their life a little bit. So what I'm doing now is just kind of coarsely chopping the basil, not too much because it will go in the food processor, but just a little bit so it's easier to get mixed up. So there's our basil, and we'll put that in. All right, now it's time to blend. All right, so you see we have everything in the food processor, and then let's go ahead and start. Okay, so about halfway through blending, I like to stop it and then take my spatula and kind of push down the bits that might have gotten up on the food processor. And then you want to get it blended so that there are no big chunks and everything is kind of blended together. So I think this needs a little bit more time, so we'll go ahead and do that. All right, and here's the finished product. So I just scooped it into a bowl with a spatula, and I put some extra chickpeas on top, as well as sprinkled some dry basil on top to kind of add a little bit of extra spice, and we're all done. And then I have my little plate of snacks to dip it in, so pretzels and fresh vegetables, but you can also dip pita or bread or really anything you want. So it is fresh and delicious and ready to eat. All right, so thank you for watching our first recipe, how to make hummus. We are now going to move into our next recipe, which is roasted taco chickpeas. So I will put the link to all of the recipes that I have made in the comment section on YouTube so you can make them at home. Okay, so it's time to get started on our second recipe, which is roasted taco chickpeas. So these can be a great addition to any taco night or to make a taco salad. So first and foremost, we'll go over the ingredients that we're going to need. So of course we have our chickpeas and then our spices. So chili powder, salt, cumin, garlic, onion powder, lime, and olive oil. So if you're going to make a taco salad, then you can just use a bag of spinach mix or whatever greens that you want. Or you can also use tortillas to make tacos. But this time I'm going to make tortilla strips for my salad. So we'll do that later at the end of the video. But you can also use your tortillas for that. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's get started. So first we were going to add our chickpeas that we have opened and drained. So we'll add those in there. And then we'll do our spices and olive oil. So we'll start with olive oil. You can do 1 tablespoon. And drizzle that around. And next we'll do chili powder. So we'll do 1 teaspoon. Chili powder, you can add a little bit more if you want it to be a little more spicy, but I like mine kind of mild. And then let's see, we'll do a 1/4 cup or 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, and then we'll do a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. All right, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then 1/8 teaspoon of onion powder. So I don't have an 1/8 one on here, so what I usually do is just fill up the 1/4 one halfway. Okay, so we'll put that in. And then lastly, we need 2 teaspoons of lime juice. So I don't have any fresh limes, unfortunately, so I'm just going to do one of these little refrigerated things. And we need 1 teaspoon, oops, sorry, actually 2 teaspoons of lime juice. All right, great, so now I get to mix it up. Okay, so I have all of my chickpeas all mixed up with the spices and the olive oil. And then I preheated my oven to 400 degrees. And so now we're just going to pour these over on a pan that has some tin foil on it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, great. And now you want to make sure that they are kind of spread out throughout the pan, so that way they cook evenly. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then as you're moving them around, you might start to see little shells come off, kind of like this. And so you can kind of just go through and pick the kind of shells off as they fall off. So we'll go through and do that. Okay, great. Now they are ready for the oven, and they're going to go in for about 20 minutes, between 20 and 25, depending upon how crispy you like them. Okay, so while our chickpeas are cooling off and getting ready to go into our salad, we are going to make some homemade tortilla strips. So I leave the oven at 350 and then take some tortillas and lay them out on a pan with some tin foil like this. And then I'm going to take some olive oil in a cup and a brush and just kind of brush over the tortillas so they're kind of evenly coated. So as you can see, I'm not completely drenching them, but they just have a little oil on them to make them get a little crispy. So we'll do the other side too. Okay, great. And so now that that is done, how I like to, you can cut them any way that you want, but I like to use the pizza slicer because it kind of makes it easy to go through all of them. And you can do like 2 tortillas at once. So you just kind of cut through, and I usually cut 2 in half like this, and then fold them together like this. And then just kind of go through and make strips. So you can make them again as big or as little as you want. And yeah, once you finish cutting them up, then we'll put some seasoning on them. Okay, so our strips are all done and cut up. The seasoning that I used was this everything but the elote seasoning from Trader Joe's. But you can use really any type of seasoning that you'd like, maybe chili powder or paprika to give it a little spice. And so now that these are done, they will go in the oven for about 15 minutes until they're crispy, and then they're the perfect salad topper. Okay, so now I've made the base of my salad. So as you can see, I added some of the spinach mix. I also cut up some bell pepper and cucumber, but you of course can add anything you want. And now it's time to add the best ingredient, which is our taco chickpeas. So after they were done in the oven, I put them in this, this container here so I can have some for dinner tonight and then keep them in the fridge so I can have it throughout the week. And then here are the tortilla strips. I like them very toasty, so I cooked them a little longer. And so that will go great on top of my salad. And then here's some other things that you can add to your salad to kind of spice it up and add some protein. You can get black beans at the food pantry, and then you can also add sweet corn. And then, yeah, it'll be the perfect salad. So let's go ahead and assemble it. All right, so it is ready to eat. So for the dressing, I made a cilantro lime vinaigrette from the recipe that I will include in the YouTube link. But you can use any salad dressing that you want. Chipotle ranch would be good, or maybe even just oil and adding some extra spice with paprika would be good. So it's really up to you. But now we have a nice healthy meal for dinner. All right, thank you for joining us for this episode of Molly's Dishes. If you would like to make the recipes that you saw here today, you can find the links in the comment section on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone.